Jimmy on the road?
Jim is here.
They're in my
Oh,
office.
Jimmy's
You tell
here.
them, I told them, go tell them again.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bastelli?
Here.
Mrs. Billings?
Here.
Mr. Sirianni will be absent. Dr. Selly?
Here.
Mr. Pallone?
Here.
And I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspapers in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Okay, we have 3 items on the agenda this evening. The first is a discussion regarding capital budget with Mr. Hayes, to be followed by a discussion regarding employee assistance program, also with Mr. Hayes, and then the review of the regular meeting agenda. So Kevin, if you could get us started with the capital budget.
Yes, sir. So you should have all received the email from me outlining our proposal for the capital budget. We're proposing $3.5 million in improvements spread out between road repaving and drainage, park improvements, and then a match for the assistance to firefighter grant that the city recently was awarded. So the total bonds or notes would be $3,325,000. There would be $175,000 down payment for a total funding of $3.5 million. And it breaks out roughly $3.3 million in the road repaving and drainage. And of course, these are based on estimates. They have not been bid yet. With park improvements for $100,000 and the firefighter grant match and a piece of equipment that we're going to go over briefly, $70,000. So your total is 3.5. So I had emailed you at John's request the list of roads, and I'm just going to, if it's okay, John, if I just show
Yeah,
the
please
board.
do.
So this map shows the streets that were recently paved as far back as 2012 are in the green. I don't know if everybody can see it. We just, obviously, as you know, we recently just did some streets in Elberon. There's 2 streets yellow over here. They're Plaza Court and Pullman Avenue, and they are part of the FEMA award that you awarded that contract a few weeks ago. And we should be having a pre-con next week or so to begin that work. Those are already funded. The ground roads are the roads that we're proposing to do. So starting here, we want to finish this area in Elberon and do Pullman Avenue between Ocean Boulevard and Elberon Avenue. We have West End Court from 2nd Avenue to by the railroad. We have a small section of Sherman Court. We have North 5th Avenue from Broadway to July. We have Hendrickson Avenue between 6th and Lippincott, or Lippincott and 7th. We have Baker Place, a small street in the north end. We have Renwick Place, Patton Avenue, Riddle Avenue, and Marine Place is on our list. The streets selected were based on complaints that I've received since I've been here in this position since October. Every complaint we got, we listed it, we went out, we looked at it, we prioritized it, and obviously we could spend $10 million on streets. So we narrowed it down to the streets that we thought were the best ones to do. Obviously, Patton Avenue is a big road reconstruction that we talked about. So, based on that list, that's the estimate that we have. I showed you in there that we're going to list a couple as alternates because we may do some of the minor stuff in-house. So we're just going to list them as alternate streets depending on what the bids come back.
Are they done with all the construction on Patton Avenue, so we can do that paving?
They are done with the, it's a water main installation,
Right.
and they are done.
Okay.
So we're going to, and also I failed to mention the other yellow item is Branchport Avenue from July to Atlantic, which is being done with Transportation Trust Fund money. And that project you've already awarded. There's a pre-con for that next week as well. So we're moving along pretty quickly. We're getting a lot of a lot of streets done, and I think it's going to be a big impact. And you can see we've kind of spread things out, took what we thought was the best course of action, and this is what we're presenting to you.
Kevin, is the curbing on the streets then?
It'll be curbing that's needs to be replaced as needed, yeah.
Kevin, what was the purple? Did you talk about the purple one?
The purple, I'm sorry, I didn't talk about the purple. The purple was streets that the sewer authority did in the last year and a half. They did that section on 2nd Avenue and Liberty Street, and we just want to put on a map to show you that those streets have received some attention.
Any questions? So Kevin, we'll move on to the drainage.
Really? That's what it is. John, you're making it too easy. This is silly. Let's see. So,
This is my favorite.
this is a little bit complicated and a little easier to see perhaps on the paper map, but if you just look and see, spread out through the city is work that we have been undertaking. The green are projects that are completed. The yellow are projects that we're proposing down the road sometime. And the brown section is what we're proposing today, which is we recently finished a 24-inch line back behind up to Bath Avenue in the area of Morrell Street. We finished that project earlier in the year. We propose at the recommendation from DPW to continue that line, which ends up, it meanders around the yards under the street and ends up over at Morris Avenue at the open culvert behind, next door behind the Seashore Day Camp. So this is the lion's share of the drainage project. We're probably estimating this in the $700,000 range. I asked them to add some maintenance into the bid for the open culvert to get that cleaned out, cut back, and regenerated. The second piece has been a resident's complaint for probably a couple of years. We have a collapsed structure behind Coleman Avenue that runs across Edwards and into the Lanes Creek. So the recommendation from DPW as well as the city engineer was to highlight these two projects to recommend for draining, and they total just about $1 million. And again, these are estimated values. We won't know until we actually, until you consent to a bond ordinance, and then we'll go out to bid for it and we'll have a better idea.
What are the two little brown spots right
I don't know what they are. Let's see what it says here. Cottage and Matilda, these are repairs that were done on 2nd Avenue. They probably haven't been updated since then, but I believe if they're not done, they've been awarded to be done. And there were some inlet changes that had to be done. We recently did some on 2nd Avenue in front of Monmouth Medical Center.
You said that there was some work there on Mars Culver.
On Morris,
Yeah.
between Morris and City Hall, it's an open culvert. Runs behind Seashore Day Camp, runs up to here, and then it gets piped under the railroad tracks, and then along here to across Broadway. So we wanted to add as an alternate, if we had enough funding in the bond, to clean out the open culvert. It's overgrown and it's got to be redone, and
Because that would block the flooding on the street.
that's what we're going to do. Yeah.
Kevin, in that big picture then, what have we addressed? What's still remaining open? What's the color?
The green has been addressed. The green our projects were all done. We've already done pipes and inlets. We did dredging at Tackanassie Lake. We did a large drainage project here 2 years ago in the Elmhurst sections of the outfall line. and the yellow are on our list of proposed future projects as funds become available. And like I said, you could spend $100 million on drainage.
But we're getting there from a
We're,
few years ago.
listen, we have a plan, nothing else. We have a plan. We're asking you to put funding towards it and keep doing a little bit every year to try to catch up.
Any questions on the drainage?
Now you see it.
Okay, so the next part of the project is the West End Park. So what we're proposing to do is to, and pardon my, before Mike makes fun of me on my line drawing, it was a little difficult. Will just educate me on this. But this is here, we propose to remove these 3 bocce courts, remove the playground equipment here, and make it grass for the park, and put new playground equipment in this area here. Okay?
That'll be much more room for concerts.
Yeah, it'll
And
be,
the park itself.
Yeah, it'll be, and I'll show you what we propose equipment-wise. Any questions in the slide before I leave it?
The handicap.
I'll go over that, I'll show you that.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Will it be the same playground equipment?
No, it'll be different equipment. We're proposing a more handicap accessible ADA style equipment in addition to a bigger park area with a full safety surface, which we currently don't have. And as you know, the number of parks that I've been involved in since I started in this position, we're trying to put the safety surface on every park we do because it's crazy. So this shows, now this is a handicap accessible device. This device is handicap accessible. There's a handicap swing, and if you look on the reverse side of it, this device here is a handicapped playground device. So the playground will be fully ADA accessible. The equipment will be handicap style equipment for all children to play on, and we think it's pretty neat. And this is about $100,000 all in. We'll do the removal of the bocce courts in-house, but the safety surface, the protective border, the equipment, the installation is right around $100,000 under state contract.
So that looks, Kevin, like it's going to appeal to the same age range as...
Well, we picked a little bit more. You know, there's the swings are designed a little bit older, but you know, recreation really guided the recommendation here, and we thought that it was a good recommendation. It's a pretty varying type device. It's not, you know, not crazy.
Kevin, is there any more room for more swings?
More swings? I don't know. The way it's laid out now is the way that the company laid it out based on the requirement for the safety surface. So I don't think we could put more swings. I could ask, but that would certainly bring the price up.
Currently, what do we have currently this?
I think we have 3 swings now. I think we have a handicap swing and 2 freestanding swings, which I think is what we duplicated.
Yeah. I just noticed that on busy day when it's busy, it doesn't seem like it's enough.
Well, I'm hoping that they find something else to do with all that equipment there. And the other thing is, we had just recently, late last year, we had sort of rebuilt the handicap swing that's currently there. So the company's going to remove that swing and install it in the park at Atlantic Avenue, which is the only park that didn't have a handicap swing. So now every park will have some measure of handicapped devices and accessibility. So that's also in the it's in our quote within that dollar figure to do.
Could you let me know if there is any more?
Sure, I'll ask them. Like I say, I don't think so because there's some sort of a code about the safe area around it, and I don't see where they would put it, but I will certainly ask them if it could be.
Well, are you thinking about perhaps expanding the surface area?
No,
Is that
I-
a possibility?
I wasn't thinking of that.
I don't think you
If
could.
there's anywhere else, anybody
Is
else?
there room there?
I don't think you could add more equipment without expanding the area, because you need to have that. There's some design standard that they use, and this was the the recommendation of them. But I will certainly ask if this could be slid over and maybe a third swing put in. I could ask them. Certainly ask them. And Dr. Selly, I'm sorry you don't have the benefit of seeing these. I could send these photos to Dr. Selly so she could actually see them.
Any other
And
questions?
Kevin, the 3.5 million is going to be bonded?
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Okay.
3.35, right, Mike?
3.25.
3.25. With a down payment of 175,000, right?
Right, okay.
Okay. And is everybody good with this? John? Good? So the last issue in the bond is the, I'm sure you all know that the fire department, the city was successful and awarded an assistance to firefighter grant in the amount of $562,000. There is a $56,000 match that the city is required to pay for this. 56,268 is our match. And it's for 60 new Scott Air Packs, approximately 130 new bottles, and approximately 100 face pieces, which is the mask they actually wear over the face, which gets issued to each individual firefighter, as well as training pieces. Each firefighter has his own personal mask. He keeps, he trains, he gets certified with every year and maintains. So our match on that is $56,000. The one downside is that the new air packs are a larger pressure than we currently use, and the rescue truck that Chief Kiley donated to the city a few years back, the Phil Bailey rescue truck, has a full SCBA filling station in it to refill these bottles at the scene. It's a great thing to have. That system will not fill the new bottles. It's not designed for that. So there's a booster pump that we plan to purchase, which is around $11,000. We purchased that booster pump, added to the system, and we're back in business. So there was about $70,000 for the fire department, and that's the net breakdown of $3,500,000.
It's a federal grant we received, isn't it?
Federal, yes. It's called the Assistance to Firefighter Grant.
Okay, so do we want to break any of this down, or are we good with it?
I'm good with all, can you broke it down?
Okay, Mary Jane?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. So Kathy, can you just get maybe the diagrams and those images to Michael, just in case he has any issues? Just
Certainly.
he can discuss it with us. But if not, what do you need from us in terms of the proceeding?
Consensus for us to put on for the introduction for the bond ordinance the next meeting.
So we're all good with that?
So also, by the way, I failed to mention this, is our goal is to possibly get some of these streets done before the end of the year. If weather is cooperative, we hope to be in a position to get it out to bid. The bids come in friendly, we can get it awarded, and the weather stays good. We may be able to do a fair amount of this work before the end of the year.
Now, when we put it out to bid as one big job for like the paving, or every job is put out?
It's broken down, the streets are broken down, and the drainage is broken down separately.
Oh, they're separately, okay.
They're done separately, so we'll have numbers on them. It's essentially 3 jobs. Part number 1 would be the road improvements, and like I told you, we're going to put a couple as alternates, just in the event we get tight with funds. We want to be able to have the flexibility, and we're able to do it in-house. We could shift it to something else. And listen, we're hoping that we've been very lucky with the bid numbers. They've been coming in pretty friendly. So if they come in, we may be able to get some more done. In the meantime, we're hoping to get this done. Job number 2 is the Bath to Mars drainage system, and job number 3 is the Edwards Avenue drainage. So they're listed, Kate, separately,
Okay.
and they'll come in as a cumulative bid, and we're hoping that it comes in the target.
Okay.
The $70,000 for the firefighters grant will just be part of it, and the $100,000 for the West End Park improvements a state contract, so that won't be a big job.
Right.
That's the number, and then I will ask, like what Joyce said, if we can add an additional swing. It's not too much more money and not too big of a deal. We'll try to do that.
Kevin, Branchport's already in the works though, right?
Branchport's awarded. There's a pre-con meeting this week actually,
So that you anticipate will be done before the cold weather, right?
without question.
Any other questions before we move on? If not, Kevin, why don't you just follow up with the employee assistance
I'm
program?
actually going to have Mike Martin had met with them. Just to set the table for you, we currently do our employee assistance program through Human Services and Recreation. Peter Strew heads that effort up. He's retiring the 1st of August.
Yes.
Well, 1st of August. So Mike and I met with Bill Arnold from Monmouth Medical Center, and Monmouth Medical Center has a really comprehensive employee assistance program that blows the doors off of what we've been doing for a fraction. Without,
They service it out. They supply the service to other entities, they do schools, they do towns, they do other things. Currently, we're going to service 287 full-time city employees, 56 part-time city employees, and then we're going to cover 25 of the sewer authority employees. They're full-time employees because we have agreed with them to maintenance.
they service, the sewer authority services the Pinsky Park fountain. The pump equipment and filter equipment is below grade, and it's what's called a permit required confined space, and they have the wherewithal to service that. So they've serviced that for us, and in exchange for that, we provide them the employee assistance program that we currently have. So when we looked at it, Mike looked at the numbers, and it's 21 employees times 18, it's like $500 a year. It's like so silly cheap that it's not a big deal for us.
Mike, before you continue, or Kevin, can you just explain some of the services that are being provided here so we know what we're talking about?
Currently the services that are being provided are if an employee is having exorbitant amounts of stress, whether it be at home or on the job, they can go very discreetly to Peter and have some type of therapy discussion. Or however long he decides, or he's recommending, or specific or more professional treatment of some type. I know they do a lot of drug counseling down there. They do drug testing program, things like that. With St. Barnabas, they're going to do, each employee is going to get up to 6 free sessions per instance. Could be a multitude of different things that they come for, they get 6 sessions. And the woman explained to me, if you can't figure out your issues in 6 sessions, you need more professional help anyway, and then they recommend someone to you, and you go through your insurance, which just covers that. You get critical incident stress debriefing services, like there's some type of mass incident here in Long Branch. They will send people here to be on-site counselors.
We've had that happen. We've had fatal fires in the city with firemen gas, and we've relied on other agencies to do it, but this would be included in our package.
They will do supervisory referral services and training. They come in and they'll meet with the department heads to identify if the staff could use or utilize their services. You know, not everybody can tell if, you know, someone just thinks they're a bad employee, but they might just be a bad employee because something else is going on at home that they need help with. So it'll let the staff, it'll train the staff better to realize things like that.
Which we currently don't really have any of that.
No, we brought people in cases of emergency.
Yes, we have.
And then we pay for it.
Yes, I believe we do.
I know we do. Yeah, it's not cheap.
It does a lot of reasonable suspicion services and training for a drug-free workplace. Also training of the supervisors on how to identify possibly employees could be on drugs, how you can, you know, sense if you need to send them for testing, things like that. We do topical seminars for employee wellness services. We have employee wellness days, and it's mostly blood pressure, cholesterol, check your physicalness, but this could be a section to check your mental stability and mental health and things like that. And they're gonna do all this for $18.60 an employee per year. So currently, we're paying Mr. Strube, who we're enjoying his services dearly, with benefits over $100,000. Total benefit package, pension, everything else. This is gonna cost the city $6,800 annually. So it'll be a tremendous savings. And I think they will be able to provide a more expansive service.
And that's a 3-year contract that
A
we're...
3-year contract at that rate, yes.
But then if they go over the session stuff, you said they go to the insurance company and insurance.
Right, they go through the city's insurance.
So basically, that's all we'll pay Barnabas, we'll never pay them more.
And we have that on the agenda for this evening because that's going to start August 1st. Is that
Contract
correct?
starts on the first, yes.
We did, we also put on, we didn't think it was, we thought it was such a no-brainer that you
Right.
wouldn't need
No,
2 weeks to
I
think about it, but
understand.
certainly if that's the case, it's okay with us, but it's, you know, we hit the lottery with this, really.
Okay, so we need a consensus on that?
Well, your consensus will be if you vote for the resolution, I assume, right? It's not-
Well, I mean, we want to bring it forward,
Yep, absolutely.
correct? Mary Jane, you're good?
I have just a question, Kevin. Is this equal to or better than what we are providing the employees now?
Oh, I would say it's much, much better than what we're employed, we're giving the
That's what I
employees
thought
now.
you said. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely much better.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Joy, good? Okay, if not, we're just moving on to the review of the regular meeting agenda. Kate? you have anything?
Nothing.
Joy?
Yeah, no. This doesn't, I did do have one more question on the EAP, sorry. This doesn't replace the current wellness that we have.
And the wellness
In addition
program,
to,
the wellness program is done through our health insurance broker. Provides a wellness program. This is in addition to
in
that.
addition.
Yes.
And you're saying it addresses separate issues anyway, right? Matt?
Totally separate. The wellness program is more physical, this is more,
Emotional.
Emotional.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
Maybe that was just pop up.
Or,
Okay, so we'll move ahead with that. Any questions? Did I just ask review the agenda?
You did.
Joy, Mary Jane?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Okay. If not, I need a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I need a motion to go into executive session for the following items. Contract negotiations for Pier Village 3, Mr. Beckerman and Mr. McManaman, and DRA, Diversified Realty Associates, with Mr. Aaron. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Bastelli?
Yes.
Mrs. Billings?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
Mr. Cologne?
Yes. Thank you, everyone.